Oh, howdy all, grab yourselves a beer, it is time for some Path of Exile discussion. Today we saw some patch notes for the upcoming patch 3.12.4b, and there's a really simple little line hidden in there that is very, very, very important. Now this is not live yet, but it will be very soon. It may be coming out tomorrow, maybe Wednesday or Thursday. But fixed a bug where heist brooch modifiers, which could duplicate rewards, were not functioning correctly. So the heist brooches are these pieces of gear that drop inside heists. You'll see here that I've got foliate brooches here. There's also the lower tier enamel brooches. And the key thing to note here is that these can roll ridiculously powerful mods that give 13 to 15% chance for certain types of rewards to be duplicated. These are not common rolls, but they're also not phenomenally rare either. And what I wanted to do is go through some of the ways that you might go about crafting these brooches. The first thing you're going to want to note is item level. You'll notice here that this Tempest Rosary Foliate brooch is item level 85, and it doesn't currently have very good mods on it. Like the Breach Splinters is okay, but it's not what we're looking for. And what I want to do is show the list of things that can drop. So this is a website called PoEDB, as soon as I just jump into it. And this lists all of the different mods that can block. All of the different mods that can roll on certain types of items. And you'll notice here that there's 8 different prefixes that can roll, and there's 17 different suffixes that can roll. The one that matters is this. Heist chests have a 13 to 15% chance to duplicate contained currency. The reason that these will sell is because essentially this is a totally broken mod. There's a lot of people who are making staggering amounts of currency using fractured fossils to clone blueprints that have anywhere from 14 to 17 currency rewards on them. And essentially, if you've got a blueprint that has 16 currency rewards on it, having a 15% chance to duplicate contained currency is equivalent to having 2.4 more currency rewards in there. So suddenly your 16 currency drop blueprint becomes an 18.4 currency drop blueprint. Now, there are people who are doing this and making 50 exalts in a day. I haven't been farming it anywhere near that hard and haven't really been able to haven't decided to play Path of Economy this league, but I know a lot of people are. And now that this mod works, it is absolutely and utterly imperative that you get one of these on each of the characters you're taking into a heist. Now, you can use one of the lower tiers until you can afford Of the Horde, so definitely use Of the Stockpile while you are saving up to buy 3 copies of the Horde. But you're going to want to have every single member that goes into your Grand Heist team to have these Of the Horde rewards. In terms of the other mods, they don't matter anywhere near as much. The actual implicit of the brooch doesn't matter very much at all because it's rarity, and rarity is like, it's not totally useless, but in a league where unique items are as flooded as they are in the Heist League, and are therefore so cheap because there's just so many of them dropping, that it doesn't really matter that much. So you can use a foliate brooch, which is the ones that require your highling to be level 5, but you can use an enamel brooch, one of the lower tier ones, and they'll be just fine. The other mods don't matter anywhere near as much, but if you can get them, job speed is something that you would like to have. Now, something very important to note before we get into the actual mechanisms by which you craft these. A lot of people think you're trying to get one specific mod. The way to do that is going to be to use alteration spam. Now, I won't fault this, it's just that it's not the best way. The way that the game decides how many mods to put on an item, if you use an alteration orb on an item, then it will have a 50-50 chance of being one mod or 2 mod. Once it's decided that it's 2 mod, it gives it both a prefix and a suffix. On the flip side, if it decides it's 1 mod, it picks a mod at random from from the entire mod pool, and then it stops after that first mod. And what this means is that because of the breakdown of prefixes and suffixes that are possible, in the event that you roll a 1 mod item with your alteration orb, you will have approximately a 30% chance to get a prefix and a 70% chance to get a suffix. On the flip side, if you were to roll a 2 mod item, so 50% of the time, you'll get 1 prefix and 1 suffix. So for each alteration orb that you're using, you will get on average 0.85 suffix rolls. On the flip side, if you scour Elk, or if you use fossils, and we'll get to why we're talking about fossils later, or for that matter if you chaos spam, but chaos spamming is a bit expensive at the moment, if you do any of these things, you will get 3 mods on 2/3 of the time, and you'll get 4 mods 1/3 of the time. So when you get 4 mods, you're guaranteed 2 suffixes. When you get 3 mods, you'll get 1 prefix and 1 suffix first, and then the game will pick from all of the remaining ones 1 at random, but it will respect the weighting. So that means that, again, you'll be more likely to get a suffix. To take all of this after the numbers are put in, every time that you use a Chaos Orb or equivalent currency like an Alchemy Orb on a brooch, you will get an average of 1.8 suffixes and 1.5 prefixes. Every time that you use an Alteration Orb, you will get 0.85 suffixes and 0.65 prefixes. So with that little bit of discussion of numbers out of the way, I want to talk about the different ways that I would go about crafting these. And ultimately, it's all about getting the most bang for your buck. In the current League economy, the first thing that came to my mind was Scour Elking. So you just loot these things. These are all rubbish, so I'm just going to obliterate all the mods on them all. We have 13 of them there. They're all gone. You can scour them, and then you can just hit them with alchemy orbs. So we got chance to duplicate contain currency, but unfortunately it's tier 3. My attitude to tier 3 ones is put them aside, sell them at low prices, but I think it's just a bit too good to roll over. This one here does not have the mods we're really looking for, and as a result, I'm just going to roll over it. Again, no duplication of currency, no duplication of currency. Duplicate contain currency at tier 3 again. I'm going to put that one aside and assess later. And we have contain essences. You won't get it very often. There are 17 different suffixes, all equally likely. So on average, you should see a duplicate currency once in every 10 approximately alchemy orbs that you use. Okay, so that's all. That's a bunch of alchemies. Now you'll notice that I got 2 currency rewards there, which is actually more than you would expect from using the 10 or so that I used there. However, it's all a numbers game. Keep doing it. There is, however, a cheaper way of doing this, and that is to recognize that you can use fossils. Now, fossils are normally used because of their ability to bias rolls. However, fossils are just very cheap at the moment. And it's actually cheaper than Scour Elking to stick a very cheap fossil, and I'm using the lightning fossils here. They're not the only ones that are super cheap, in a primitive chaotic resonator. I don't expect that the prices will remain the same way, but these will work. And now again, we're just having a look to see if we can get what we're looking for, which is the roll of duplicate currency. That's tier 3 again. Now there is a bias against tier 1. Firstly, in order to roll tier 1 at all, your brooch needs to be item level 83 or higher. I strongly suggest that you do not do this except on brooches that are item level 83 plus. And then once you do hit a currency roll, there is a bias against the higher tiers. There is a 5 to 4 to 3 to 2 bias for tier 4 to tier 3 to tier 2 to tier 1. So that means that in the event that you do hit a currency roll, it's approximately a 1 in 7 chance that you will get the coveted tier 1, and approximately a 1 in 5, actually exactly a 1 in 5 chance that you will get the less coveted but still valuable tier 2. And so we're just going to have a quick look through, run through the rest of these, see if we can get another one. Maybe we'll hit a top tier one, maybe we won't. Okay, we're still not getting there yet. You'll notice also that there's increased item quantity. Increased item quantity is a significant bonus to get. If the brooch is already good, then having a quantity roll on it makes it better. Additionally, there is an item level 84 only quantity roll that comes up. So a brooch that is item level 84 or higher has a little bit more potential. And the whole boom, 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 there we go, of the Horde. That one is definitely getting put aside and treasured there. That can sit over in the corner. What else do we get here? Unfortunately, every other mod on that is rubbish. But just the fact that we've got the tier 1, the tier 1 chance to duplicate contain currency, that's what we're looking for at the moment. this is going to be worth something significant after the patch hits. Well, maybe less so if I keep giving away the secrets of how to roll them. Okay, so we still haven't had any further ones. That said, this was a 1 in 70 hit, so we weren't really expecting it. You'll notice that there's increased damage. I believe that that only increases the damage of the actual rogue themselves. This is not increased to you, or this is not your player gets increased damage. That's my understanding. I could very well be wrong. This has what I believe is it's tier 2 item quantity. That would be a good roll if it came with anything else really good at all. Unfortunately, that was not what I thought was a particularly good one. Okay, so what's the best way to do it? At the current state of the economy, the best way to do it is the cheap resonator and the cheap fossil approach. Just because this mimics a chaos orb, or it mimics a scour orb and an alchemy orb, but it does so slightly cheaper than purchasing a scouring orb from other players. The other options though is simply scour alching. This is at the current market prices a little bit better than using alteration spam. However, alteration spam is certainly viable, and also it's faster. The fact that it's faster will make it appealing to a lot of people who would rather spend less time rolling items and are happy to pay a slight extra premium. Job experience gain is a mod that I just want to quickly mention is absolute rubbish. If you're using a Foliate Brooch that requires level 5 in any job, that's only going to help Vindiri, and Vindiri you will use so often that you will get him leveled anyway. You'll notice here that this has a 6% chance to duplicate contained currency. Although this is the series of mods that we want, I have no reservations whatsoever in rolling over that tier of it. And again, we're just going to keep going, see if we can hit anything else on this before we run out of this current container of alchemy orbs. And then at that point, I will just recap. 50, oh wow, that's the second one. Okay, this has been staggeringly lucky. The question will now come up, is it worth applying an Exalted Orb at this point? And I think that it's a dubious prospect. The prefix, it's going to get a prefix, and there's a number of prefixes that don't act as any sort of loot amplifier at all. So the possible prefixes are percentage increased damage, percentage increased time before lockdown, percentage increased job speed, percentage increased job experience gain, which I think we already have, yes we do. Rarity of items dropped in heist, quantity of items dropped in heist, monsters have a chance to drop duplicated rogue markers, and increased rogue marker value of primary heist target. Of these, the ones that would be worth the Exalt expense on it are percentage job speed for quality of life would be significant, and also for safety for that matter. I think if you hit percentage increased job speed, you would be happy with that Exalt. However, it's only about a 1 in 7 chance of hitting it, and increased quantity is rarer than the other rolls. So as I see it, you've got about a 20% chance of improving this meaningfully with an Exalt. Otherwise, you've wasted the Exalt. So would we be adding 5 Exalts on a hit? The answer is no. I don't believe that we would be adding 5 Exalts to Eagle Collar by adding another mod onto it if we hit one of the good ones, and therefore I'm not going to slam it with an Exalt. Anyways, so to quickly recap, there are 3 ways that you can craft these brooches. The first one is just by using any old fossil. This is right now the cheapest way to do it. By the time you're watching this video, it may not be. The second is scour elking, and the third is alteration spamming. You should alteration spam if doing so costs you less than 44% of the cost of a scouring orb and an alchemy orb, which will sometimes be the case. You should use fossils if this costs less than 2.2 alterations would. And of course, all of these market prices will vary. You should not use Chaos Orbs because Chaos Orbs are inflated in value this league because of demand from people running Delirium mapping. Anyway, that is my guide on how to roll these Foliate Brooches. If you've got any comments or questions, fire away below. Otherwise, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you have a good one.